This conference will now be recorded.
I approved the bill. Once we got the check from the homeowner, then we paid the bill. And then we, you know.
Okay, it's 2:00. We'll call the meeting to order. Roll call, Gary, Tom Murphy,
Here.
Nickerson, Dave, Tom Roller, Virginia, and Chris, myself. Everybody's here. Yay. Okay. We have two sets of minutes to approve. One is from May 18th, which was a special meeting we had on budget. To finish that off, you should have a copy on top.
A question there,
Okay.
on the staffing. Are we still going to be responsible for that intern?
The staffing was put onto the budgets. That was like, I think the total thing was $11,000.
But we were going to
Yep.
question whether we were responsible for paying the intern,
For what?
for the intern.
It's all part, it's 10% of their whole salary and stuff, and it is part of the insurance, just the whole thing.
Intern.
This-
Intern.
Yeah, this one here.
We shouldn't have to pay for the
Oh, the
intern.
intern.
You thought you said insurance.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You were going to
It's just
question that.
5% for Ellie. Yeah, that's the only thing that I
It
was.
says Ellie and
Yeah,
intern.
just Ellie, yeah.
Oh, okay,
The intern only worked a couple days a week.
okay.
Yeah. Is there a motion on this?
Move to accept.
Did they pay it? Because we think we paid it twice. That's what we'll have to call that company and find out.
Yep.
No, okay.
Let me make a note of that.
Okay. Okay, second set of minutes is from June 1st. Any comments, questions on that? Or a motion?
Move to accept.
I'm sorry,
Move to accept.
Virginia moves to accept. A second.
Second.
Tom? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Moving right along. Okay, since we're talking about,
Can I make a comment? The May ones are not on the agenda for meeting of people. Will the May and June be provided at the next meeting?
yes, we will email it to them so they have it for the meeting. Yes.
The May ones were not on this.
I'm sorry?
The May ones were not on this.
No, just those are only two that we haven't approved. Were those two there, the one from May 18th and the one from June 1st. Okay, yeah, they've been instructed to email all those to Eric. so he can
What
put it for the meeting.
she's saying that the May is not on our agenda to consider today. And she's making an issue of that.
I'm making it.
Well, we knew that a mistake was made, and it was not a thing that was really a lot of stuff other than budget stuff. If you want, we can disapprove it and move on. Okay, all right, okay. We haven't got the financials in. The only thing I have on myself on the financials is the latest Action Door invoice that we received in for $765 to put up a new gate. My first point on it is no one from the HOA has approved it other than sending it to accounts payable. And I think someone
Want to end this quick?
yeah,
Throw it out. It's not an 004 issue. The HOA will deal with it. We're going to be sending that to the guy who broke it. So don't let them pay this one like they
Okay,
paid the last one.
Yeah, well, this is the only invoice they have. And I think that's one thing that I think we need to have is the invoices that go from the HOA over here to get paid. Someone should approve that, that's the correct
When I
amount.
call them about the overpayment, I'm going to also mention to them that no invoices should come directly here. They should all go directly to the HOA, and then if need be, we can forward one down here if it belongs.
Okay, any invoice though that the 04 fund is going to pay should, and it starts at the HOA, someone from the HOA should sign off. It could be Eric or someone to say that, yes, this is an authorized account, et cetera. So it comes to Julie, and Julie's the one who forwards it, and we get it, and then we don't have any information on it. So we're just trying to make sure we have some
Correct.
information before we approve it.
I was even looking at that because I have a copy of it. Georgia emailed me a
Yeah.
copy.
Yeah, they'd
How did
already
they even
gotten
know,
it.
how did they even know to send it to them? Look,
Yeah.
there's our
goes-
address and our address.
Yeah.
There's nothing
So-
on it that says CDD.
Yeah,
I didn't
so-
even get it.
Which one?
That 1943.
1934. That's what happened on that. That was on that 19, that's what it's coming through to be paid, coming here.
Yeah, that's why he don't even work for Castle anymore. Can I keep this for when I call them up to get the money back?
Yeah.
I'm sure she printed a copy. Okay.
Okay. But I say, we're just trying to put some accountability on invoices that's coming through, that if I have to sign off on it, I want to know.
If somebody else already did.
Yeah, someone already approved it. It's something that's already done and per contract or whatever, just a signature on it from somebody that would know what's going on.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, and anybody can chime in on this. The way I feel is if there's an equipment break, like for instance, I mean, not wood, we're not replacing belts every 4 weeks. But if a belt breaks, that's like a mechanical thing,
Yeah.
that we would send here.
Yeah.
If somebody runs the gate like that, that doesn't involve the CDD at all.
Yeah, we're just trying to qualify
We fix that in-house.
we're just trying to qualify the money that we're spending in these different accounts. And that someone that is no breakdown and that it's just coming here for payment and no one knows what's going on with that.
Correct.
Stuff, so,
Shut this off.
yeah,
Sorry.
nothing. Okay, that later. Landscaping proposals. We had, since the last meeting, we had come out with a spreadsheet. I put one out and then Tom come and put something out. So we have two that we kind of need to take a look at. Has everybody seen both of them, both spreadsheets?
I didn't see Tom's. So I'm going-
That was just a modification of yours.
Yeah, but that's still there. Okay, this, yeah, just to, and really the only difference is Tom has put a priority on them, which I think is important for us, so we know what's going on, what we have in the background that perhaps needs to get done, et cetera.
Wait a minute. I didn't put a priority on there. I put sample data in there.
Yeah,
So that if during the meeting, we prioritize that and then we go in and sort it and then
do it
give
now,
it the
right,
cost over there.
right,
So
okay.
that's what I added to the basic
Yeah.
spreadsheet.
I think
did-
that's, I think it's important to have that on there so we know as things are going on. And I think, I don't know how we want to do that, because I've added on to here the ones that we're going to deal with today and stuff. So I think we don't have anything that what's been completed. I know some of these have already been completed. So let me just use what's on here right now just as it is, because we have some to look at here today. And then we'll update this and get something out to everybody before the next meeting so they have it.
Well, I asked Georgia if we could get to this spreadsheet from this meeting. She said yes. So if you
Okay.
want to prioritize these, we can resort and get the cumulative cost during the meeting.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
Okay. Well, I'm not sure which one of these, Pebblestone and Jewelstone, I think that's already been completed, hasn't it? Do you know, Kathy? This would have been done some, about by the first.
Jewelstone is completed
Okay.
and Pebblestone is completed. It's in the.
Pebblestone at the clubhouse.
The Pebblestone, the corner is completed.
24-1 and 24-2, no, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
22-1
they're right
and
here. It's in the-
22-4.
This report.
Okay, yeah, that, the tree's been down. Stoneybrook is bluestone. Plant, yeah, those were, I saw those. Okay. Today we have 22-5 through 25-9. I think you have a copy of the proposal.
Hang on a second, the first 4 have been complete.
Huh?
First 4 are
The
complete.
first 4 have been completed. Okay,
And isn't 8 and 9 either or?
huh?
Isn't 8 and 9 either or? Deciding what type of mulch you want to get.
Well, that's it. There's a proposal for each one. We just need to
Yeah,
talk about which
that's what I
one.
mean,
and then-
either or.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's look at 22-5. And we talked about this the last time, and that has to do with taking the oak tree down on Gemstone Circle and replacing it with another palm tree in that area. I've talked to Jim, and of course Kathy made her presentation on this with the tree. And Jim has verified again with the stuff that it is in bad shape. It needs to come down because I've got a picture. You can see where the crack is here, and it goes right down through the middle of the tree.
I went and looked at it in person, it's as bad as it looks.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It
You
looks
get
bad.
the feeling there's two branches that look like they shouldn't even be there, and they're big.
And,
They're gonna
and,
come down.
yeah, and Jim had mentioned that he felt a lot of that was because it wasn't trimmed properly, because if you look at the tree from a distance, the one side is really high and the other side is down. It just really hadn't been trimmed properly on it. And I think we need to go ahead and move on this particular one. On 25-5, removing that tree and putting in and it will just following up with what they have on this this proposal sheet.
Are you saying that should be our highest priority then?
Yes.
You want a motion?
Any more comments or motion? I'm sorry.
You want a motion on each individual?
Yeah,
one?
well, yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve 22-5.
I'll second.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor? In looking at the budget information that we have one account in the landscaping that has not been touched. I think we talked about this one time before. They were using the money for other stuff. And I'll work with Laura to move funds around so we have them in the right account so we can pay for these things. So. 22-6 had to do with replacing some things at the front gate. And I think you come up for a second. You come up. I'm sorry.
I have a name.
Kathy.
Yes, thank you.
Uh,
Not you.
yeah, so,
No.
this has at the front gate, and the front gate needs a lot of work. I think this is a good start, and we need to probably do some more stuff around that front gate, around the gatehouse.
Mhm.
That's what people see when they first come in, and we need to make sure that it's as clean as we can. I think this is a good start, and if they get that in, see what else we can put in there to kind of keep that. I know back by the gatehouse, there's just a lot of dirt and stuff and
Right.
things. So see what we can put in that particular area too.
When I go out with him again, I will talk, you want me to talk to him about that? Is that what you're saying? Is that how you're directing me? Just,
Oh,
okay, just,
just so we can find out, what would be good. I know Jim and
Freddie.
Freddie. I'm just Freddie. would help out. Just something to make that look a lot nicer than what it is out front there.
Right.
Around the gatehouse.
When we go out, we talk about the soil.
Yeah.
Where the sun hits, how the sun comes. I mean, it's just not taking that plant and putting another one in its place. It's
Okay.
looking at the whole
Yeah.
picture.
And Jim's pretty well in tune with that too.
So-
He knows quite a bit about that kind of stuff, so. So this will be around the gatehouse. Comments or a motion?
Those are the flax lilies that you're talking about that are going to be removed.
Yes.
I'll make a
The
motion.
flax lilies.
I'll make a motion to approve 22 dash.
Gary, second. Chris? Any other comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Can I just, may I interrupt you? for a
No, go
second?
ahead, go ahead.
Okay. You notice that the flowers have been replaced at the sign because they were dying.
Yeah.
Because there was irrigation problem. Hopefully, the irrigation problem is resolved.
Okay.
Okay, so that's why they had to be replaced.
I saw that they had been replaced, so, yeah.
And
that's fine.
then that's why.
Now, in my discussion with Jim, did they change those flowers on a rotating basis, on a schedule?
Mhm. But we're not going to have the same flowers that they have on the bullnose because we're different.
Okay.
Okay. Every other community doesn't have the same flowers as
Right.
on the bullnose. And
Okay.
so my suggestion was, the fact is that we are Stoneybrook and we are not Gateway. And that Stoneybrook should have the same regards as all the other communities. So,
Do we get to choose?
oh, well, actually, Freddie and I talk about it.
Okay.
Okay, usually I choose like if it's seasonal. I won't say what kind of flowers, but I'll say like at Christmas time, we should have red and white. In fall, we should have something with yellow and orange, so it looks seasonal. But that's how we used to do it with the CBD too. So
Okay.
just so that but their flowers, it was suggested that
No.
by somebody in my work group that we should be different. So I brought that to
Okay, that's
the other
fine.
people.
That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. As
Okay.
long as they grow good and make the front end look nice when people are coming in and out of Stoneybrook. Okay?
Let me ask one question while we're on the, not of Kathy, just of us here.
Well, you know my name.
The HOA, of course I know. The HOA is getting a quote for landscape lighting around the gatehouse. Like maybe uplights shining up at the big palm trees and stuff like that. We hadn't given it a thought. Should that come through here? Or we can just redo that and pay for it and it's a done deal?
For me, it would be great to do anything to get rid of all those wires that are running around the doorways, around the gatehouse.
Yep, that's all part of the plan.
And I don't know what, I wouldn't have a problem with it, but I don't know what the HOA might, or not, what the CDD would do on it. Margaret, your opinion? If the HOA paid to have the lights up around the gatehouse, that wouldn't be a problem, or would it be a problem?
That was actually my question.
But-
Concerning the entrance to Stoneybrook and the lights that are out there. It's been open for discussion between HOA board members and actually in discussion here. We need to know exactly if it's the landscaping and gateway services through Stoneybrook Advisory Committee doing this, because I think there's some confusion. We've had a lot of different people working on this. We've had different electricians proposals maybe put out there or to get proposals, but I haven't seen anything done. But we also need to know whose job is it? Because the HOA is actually working on this as a project. And I think Stoneybrook Advisory Committee might be the one that should be in charge of this project.
No, I don't think so. Stoneybrook Advisory Committee should not be in charge of any projects. We are not a project. We've done projects because of things the way they fell. Projects should start at the HOA level. The gatehouse is part of the responsibilities of the HOA.
So the bottom line question is, from the gatehouse and the entrance, which fund does that come out of? That's who's in charge.
Well,
So like, the gatehouse is owned by the city.
yeah, the whole thing is owned by the CDD, but the operations and maintenance agreement puts the gatehouse and information in the entryway all under HOA maintenance and agreement, though it's paid for through the 04 fund. So that's where we're trying to draw some lines to make sure we are all doing what we're supposed to be doing and getting it done right and getting it done effectively.
So those proposals need to be forwarded to the Stoneybrook Advisory
For funding.
For payment, for funding, for funding. No, they can do a project and then get the proposals and RFPs, all the other stuff that we're gonna talk about probably later on. And then when it comes to funding, the funding, since there's no funding available through the agreement at this time, would have to come through here as just a pass-through kind of thing to the CDD.
Bills need to be made out to the CDD.
Right, yeah, that's where it's gonna have, yeah, that's where we run into the problem. But the HOA is designated through the agreement to do all these different things on all these different areas. Under the maintenance and the operations and maintenance agreement that we have. Okay, let's get this.
So I'll get this stuff, we'll approve it as a board.
Yeah.
And then we'll take the one that we approve and bring it here to arrange finance.
Yeah, I don't have any problem.
Because we were gonna pay for it,
Huh?
but
Yeah.
but we were gonna pay for it. at
Well, you
the
can pay for
HOA.
it, yeah. But let me check with,
But maybe we're not even allowed to
with
put
the
a shovel
powers to
in the-
be.
Yeah, we might not even be allowed to put a shovel in the ground out there.
No, I think that the agreement just goes with that, but I think I'll check with Laura and Chelsea on that to see if that be, I don't personally see a problem with it. But again, I would want to check to make sure that we're not doing something else.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay. 22-7, and that is the petunias along Pebblebrook. Removing some of those petunias along there. Those petunias look really nice as long as they're getting water. When they don't get water, they just wilt in a heartbeat. So, and and you can tell where the irrigation's hitting, where it's not hitting,
Mhm.
you know, so that's, I'm sure that wears and tears on it. And that will go all along Pebblebrook.
Right, yeah, they're concerned because they're starting to get into the walkway, okay? And, don't want them to go to disrupt, interfere with the walkway or cause any problems there. So they want to push them back because they're going to come back forward
Right,
anyway.
yeah, they grow, when they get the water, they really grow.
Right,
They
so
really
they're
do.
going to come back, but if
Okay.
they can move them back at least for a while, so there's no irritation
Oh.
to the walkway.
Okay,
Word?
okay. Anybody got any questions or?
The rest of these things we have listed on here.
Yeah.
We have the money for it?
Yes, we can,
Okay.
we can
So-
adjust.
so we're considering these only because we can,
Well,
end of the year. use
the
all
last two we'll have to consider which way we want to go.
Correct.
But, yeah, but this
Okay.
one would be thing. Yeah, we do have some funds available, mainly because they've been taking all the funds out of one account and not touch the other account in the landscaping. So we should be able to move some of that money we haven't used yet to take care of these.
So how much is the lighting gonna cost, and will we have money for that?
Yeah, well, we don't have a proposal on that yet,
So if
so
we're spending all the money, and they're gonna send us the bill for it after they've authorized it, then what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity.
Well, if we don't have to, we'll pay it back
Yeah.
home.
Okay.
so to say.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get a
So
Because
we'll
that's
pay you
cap-
back next year when we have money? Is that, is that what you're looking to do, or?
The residents are still paying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get
Whether
it.
you're paying from down here, whether you're paying from up there.
Okay.
It's still coming out of residents' pockets, so
All right.
it's only a matter of like bookkeeping. So
All right, I'm just curious. I
Yeah.
don't, it doesn't, it seems a little.
Well,
odd to me,
our
but-
budget is,
October.
goes back, is October 1st to September 30th budget. So we're getting down to where we have money available now that we can use. And I doubt if they get this proposal done before, would not be paid for until after October anyway, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, vendors are real rough.
Yeah.
We're supposed to have the proposal for last month's board meeting, and now I don't even know that I'm gonna have it for Monday's board. So, okay.
Okay. Any more questions on the petunias along Pebblebrook, to replace those? If not, a motion,
Move back the,
okay, Virginia moves to
Petunias.
accept.
Second.
Whoever. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now the 22.8 and 22.9, one is for,
Did you want me?
do you have anything else? We're gonna talk about mulch.
Mulch, right. The pine straw, I don't know about pine straw. That's, I just, you notice I put a question mark, pine straw.
That we,
Why, because pine,
Landscapes put a proposal together, as you have, one for mulch or the cocoa brown mulch, which is $8,800, or pine straw, which is $5,600.
that, I looked up, my father used to use that cocoa mulch because we lived in Pennsylvania near Hershey. And it's the hulls from the cocoa beans. And it smells like chocolate when you first put it down.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and there was some concern, they were talking of keeping the color. But when I went looking for the cocoa mulch, the first thing I found in front of it was a special dye you can put on it after a while to keep the color. So I'm thinking it's probably about the same as the pine straw, that it's only gonna last so long color-wise, and you'd have to do something else after that.
But does it last longer?
I think it might last longer that way, yeah.
Doesn't blow away.
Huh?
Right.
Doesn't blow away. like
No, it
straw
don't,
would.
no. And that's what, that's what we have decided. I asked Jim Kennedy, who is the guy in charge of the landscaping stuff around Gateway. And Gateway is looking to go to, on their stuff, with the cocoa mulch this year. So that would be something we might want to consider or not.
Why are they doing it?
Huh?
Why are they doing it?
Just for a different, just because that's what they started to
If it
do
lasts
last year.
longer and costs less over the long run.
That's kind of what the impression I had when Brian was making that before, because he was making a bid for that before he left.
And the money you're gonna move around, do we have the money for the extra 3,000?
I had it added up. I would think we do at this point.
Okay.
Again, we're just moving some money around. Fortunately, we can do that without too much problem here, so.
Are either one of these more favorable to the CDD as far as less likely to clog up the catch basins and stuff? And
I don't know.
Causing growth.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Do you know that answer?
I have a question, because I've been documenting for the past 2 weeks on where the mulch goes and where it slides down and goes into drain and everywhere. If they were to, and the roots are so exposed, I mean, it's so bad. It's obvious. If they can put dirt and they can actually put going up and down those hills, there are other ones I've taken pictures of that are covered with sod. And then you go down like the next section and there's no sod. And they're actually filling this in with mulch and the mulch just slides down the damn hill. I just thought maybe there should be some type of reconsideration on actually resodding some of those areas to number one, save on mulch because it's a waste of money. If you need my picture, I will send it. I know you're trying to decide on mulch and you're trying to decide on landscaping issues, but that's, I think, a really simple fix about 3 sections going down Pebblebrook on adding soil and adding the mulch. I mean, it's a crazy hill. It's actually, I don't know, common sense level of even trying to put mulch there. I can't even comprehend why somebody would waste the time, waste the money to do that. So I can send my picture to them.
Okay, thank you.
Well, it seems like the mulched areas are getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah,
I'm sorry?
The mulched areas are getting bigger and bigger.
Because when they use the weed whackers, they keep going back and
Yeah.
back and back.
And she's right. If you put sod in there to reduce the amount of mulch, the sod should take and
And might hold the mulch back from washing out.
Absolutely. Hold it, hold
Plus
it.
the dirt and everything else that comes off.
Yeah, well, they've got some mowing problems too when they get down by Greenstone there. You get on the side there, and if it's wet, they slide down and tear up the
Exactly,
sod.
tear it all
And
off.
there are some big trees.
I'm assuming this is not time sensitive.
No, this is not. I think, yeah, I think we need to put this off and have Kathy and Jim Kennedy take a look at this with Freddie and see what can be done to alleviate that. Putting sod over the tree roots would be a problem, but they may have a way that they can do that because they've done pretty good of the sod on the corners. But I think Kathy, if you can look at that.
I can look at it again, but even
Yeah.
when Al and I went down a few years ago, the problem is that the sod won't grow in those areas.
But if you look at my pictures, there is sod here, and 10 feet down, there's no sod and mulch.
Right.
It makes no sense. It's
Yeah.
exactly the same dimension coming down that hill as 10 feet down.
But it's not just the dimension, what the tree is
Okay.
like. And, you know,
Okay, we'll get, the work group, and I'll get with Jim Kennedy also, so he knows what we're looking at. And we'll try to have something back for the next meeting.
Also the answer to the question about clogging up the drain.
Yeah, we can get
Yeah,
that.
that's more important.
Yeah. Margaret?
Just a suggestion, underneath the trees where it's hard to get grass to grow, they planted some of those little ropes.
Yeah.
In places that held the mulch in place,
Mhm.
but you can even use those in a bigger area.
Right.
Underneath the trees, they don't have to be mowed, you don't have to mulch.
Yeah.
They just grow, they don't get big, don't need much trim.
What happened with that whole thing is when they put in the
Okay.
sidewalk,
You got,
before we had that sidewalk, that was a fairly gentle hill and there wasn't that problem.
no, I liked it when they had the stone.
Yeah, but the kids, so did the kids like the stone.
But anyway, but that is really, really tight. I know down towards our end of it, I think they're getting a little bit better, but when it gets a little bit wet, they don't use the weed whacker on that grass. They just use the big mower board and it slides down. And if they don't put it back up there, it looks terrible. So I'll mention it to Jim.
I got it on my list.
Okay, I'll tell him too, so we cover that. So, okay, we'll table these till next one, and we'll just put a priority of 1 on each one of these so that we get it on next week or next month's budget agenda. Okay, and we'll get things done. Okay, get rid of this. Where's my notes? What happened to my notes? Oops. Okay.
I thought this list was supposed to be a much longer list. And we would look at all the projects and then
Yeah.
prioritize the ones we wanted, and they would look from the top, then we would see how much money we
This is
have.
all, yeah,
Looks like all we're doing is considering the ones that are submitted to us, a few at a time.
Yeah.
And we're not looking at any kind of overall program, which we should be.
I think, that's all we have right now, and we'll, now that we have this set up, we'll get with the proposals or whatever they have projected out to do, because there are some things that need to get done routinely on it, so, okay.
I have a question about them also. Like, when these projects are done, who do they report to say, hey, we've completed the project, and then does that person?
They get, Jim
Okay.
Kennedy he has a list. I think it's the second CDD meeting of the month, he presents his report, and he has all the things that are done on that, no matter where it's done at, and we'll be able to get a copy of that. And we can have him approve or let us know when they're done too. If that-
Well, and Kathy pretty much lets us know. Kathy pretty much lets us know
Yeah,
when these things are done.
okay.
Are we still on this list?
I don't have that list with me. I haven't, does everybody have a copy of that list? I don't.
It's in the packet.
Is it in? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't look at that. I had my own stack of stuff.
I have a question about that list. The
Okay.
sign at the corner of Crooked Creek has been down for
Yes,
almost
that's
2
on,
months.
that's on my list to check with Gateway, because Gateway was having it fixed down at Sign Tech. So, and I don't know what the status, I noticed that the other day when I was out running around on it, so. Yeah. Okay. Okay, next item on the agenda is, I think, number 6 or 7. Sidewalk project, okay? At the last meeting,
Wait a minute, we didn't finish the landscape
oh, I'm sorry,
proposals that she has, the new stuff too. I'd like to say to Kathy, for one thing, Rock Ridge and Jewelstone look really nice now. Thank you, they really look nice. Now, at Stone Valley, they came this week, and I thought they were trimming bushes, and they're down almost to the ground. They're just stubs. Are they gonna grow back, or,
They should grow back, but they're down too much.
I mean, you should
Down
come
too
down,
much. There.
down too much. They're about this high.
Yeah, that's the, and that, there's no
There's
plants
nothing.
on it, there's no foliage.
Already a struggle for them.
what's that?
So,
So I will, well, what I will do, you know, is I will contact, but. Right, all right.
When I saw them out there the other day, it
Where,
looked like,
I can't hear you.
it looked like they were just trimming them. And then the next day, there's nothing there.
Oh, the ones on the corner, yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
they're bad.
I don't know why they took that. I'm hoping they would take some more golf on the other side for the traffic view going up that way. 'Cause
There was no problem with the
Yeah.
view on our side.
I will email you,
Okay,
okay? And then I will also address it when I go out. I put it on my.
it looks terrible right now.
Okay.
I bet you it comes back. One thing I've learned in the 5 years that I was here, because I've seen some people do this kind of stuff, and my neighbor across the street trimmed something down to 6 inches. And I said, why don't you just tear them out? And you look at them now, they're beautiful.
Yeah, they,
I mean,
that might have been what
you
they've
can't,
done.
it's hard to kill stuff in Florida.
Yeah, and I don't know, that seemed like an awful low
Drastic.
cut.
Yeah, because they were taller than I
Yeah,
am.
they were very,
Yeah,
very
they were
tall,
really,
and that
yeah.
might be what they're trying to do. But we can check to find out just what the status is. And I put it on my list again too, so, okay. Okay. Okay, next. Who's my agenda? Oh, I've got it here. So I think I know, yeah, okay. The sidewalk project, last month, meeting, we approved the funding for the sidewalk project to take out the trip hazards. The proposal went out. The gentleman or the company come out and start grinding down the sidewalks. He had 200 and I think 255 on his list, plus then he did more than what was on the list. The one thing that we had talked about was, should they grind down or fix the driveways that way? And it was decided, no, we would not do that on that. That information didn't get back to Eric, nor did it get to the vendor on doing this or not doing this. So because of that, we had 3 driveways that have been ground down to meet the ADA requirements. 2 of the driveways were marked, and they marked the rest of them with the orange spots and stuff. The third one wasn't marked. In the vendor's opinion, it needed to be ground down because it was not within the ADA standards. The problem come down that there was no communication to the vendor to do this, and I don't believe the CAM was aware of this either. The vendor didn't call the CAM to find out what he should, what he shouldn't be doing. I'm sure if you would have called and talked to Eric, if he didn't have the question or the answer to that question, he would have called somebody because he knew we needed to get that information. So we ended up with the 3 driveways. I don't know if she put pictures. I had some pictures. I don't know if she gave them to you or not. We are in the process of going to get those fixed. In fact, tomorrow I have 2 vendors coming to take a look so we can make a determination of how we're going to be able to fix. All 3 are a little different. One is kind of marked off with like, it looks like pavers, but it's not. It's concrete with lines drawn in it. The other is just a flat piece with paint on it. And the third is got a swirl in it kind of thing, but the concrete, I think, is all kind of a lightish green color through it. I'm not going to second guess at how it will be done because we have 2 companies coming out who do this kind of work. In my vetting of the 2 companies, I'm pretty comfortable that they'll come up and give us some good ideas as to what we need to do and how it can be done. And I know it's probably going to be a costly affair. I think we need to do this to get it done right. The homeowner was not responsible for any of the stuff that was done. To me, it was just a total miscommunication and not getting done. And I know, you know, homeowners would be upset. I would be upset if we didn't know what was going on. So I think once I'd like to get this resolved, hopefully by the end of next week, as far as getting some proposals in and things. Once if I get proposals in and we get stuff done, I'll send that out to the board members, committee members, so they have it, and we'll try to see what kind of a decision we can make. Of course, it's all going to depend on what all has to get done, you know. And again, everybody I've talked to, there's no quick fix as far as time-wise. Everybody is just tied up doing different things. But I think we need to expedite as quickly as we can to get our residents taken care of and getting their driveways back in the condition that it was before they did the grinding. When we talked about it, and I not knowing that much about raising, lowering, grinding down or whatever, everything was discussed of grinding. As I've been researching this for the last week and trying to find people to come in and that were in the industry and could do these things, I found that we probably should have at the driveway level, or the driveway was higher than the sidewalk, is have someone come in and put the polyethylene foam and raise it up. And that is apparently a common way that they do that. I had never heard of that until I got reading some different things on it. And some places, that's all they do is that. It's costly. But again, with our driveways, I think we need to remember this for the future, that if we had, because some HOAs have done this process a couple different times already over their years, that when it comes time to do it again, if we have to do it again, is to look at that and make sure that they're going to raise it. I think all 3 of these needed to have the sidewalk raised because the driveway was a little bit higher and they could have raised the sidewalk up to that level. And they're only talking a quarter to a half an inch to raise it and stuff. So I think that's something we need to recall for next time, that we have that. I think, you know, probably could have done a little more research to get it done, and to get it done that way. It wasn't done. I don't think I hadn't heard about it until I got reading about it. The question now is, we've already received an invoice from the contractor, and it has not been paid yet. And I think, you know, in some respect, I think we have a problem in trying to say, hey, you know, you screwed this up. Not totally. I think there's some other miscommunication stuff. The CDD would not like to pay this until such a time as we have the invoices in and we can resolve everything at one time to make sure that we're being fair to everyone concerned on this. I don't have a slight cost at what it's going to be. As I said, that two companies coming out tomorrow. And after one don't come out till late afternoon, one's early in the morning. So once they get their information together and get it back to us, I'll get it out to the board committee members here. You can take a look at it and also be talking with the CDD with that too. They have a new person they've hired, a contract person who will work with too, probably to see just what we need to do and how we're going to get it done. But we need to make sure that our residents are satisfied with what they do. And I'd say all three driveways are a little bit different. So it's not the case that, well, look at this driveway, that's all you have to do, because that's not the case. You know, I think one driveway is just strictly concrete, painted over. Another has got the things on it. The other, I think, has got the green concrete kind of thing that's there. It appears that way. So need people to know what they're doing. And one guy I talked to said, well, this is just what we do. This is kind of stuff that we do. I said, well, we'll just see what you can do and what has to get done. So I'll have that, hopefully have that information tomorrow, and I will get it back to everybody. So any questions?
Am I understanding that we're gonna consider paying to fix what the contractor did wrong?
We may have to. The contractor was never told not to do driveways. And he was told to do all the orange spots. And two of the orange spots were at driveways. And the third one, he just went and did it.
On the day this happened, when it happened to the house with the green driveway.
Yes.
Eric and I were called down there.
Yeah.
And we looked at it, we saw it, and then we drove around the corner and there was the guy working on Moore. We stopped to talk to him, not knowing that he's the owner of the company. And he told us, it's in my contract that said, fix all orange marks and any other trip hazards we find. And then I went back and looked at what we had from last month and hit the contract. And it says nothing about taking it upon yourself to fix anything else you find. It was orange dots only. And I know the green driveway didn't have orange dots.
Right.
I know there's at least one driveway on Bluestone that the orange dot is still there. They never even touched it.
Well, that I don't know.
There's more than just three that are damaged, because there's 2 or 3 just on Bluestone. I walk around 3 times a night.
What kind of damage?
Well, they were grinding.
On the driveway?
On the driveway side, yeah. Now, I guess if the people don't call and complain, maybe these 3 that we have only because people complained, or
No,
we identified them?
no, those are the ones that I found driving around, looking at the spots where the orange dots were and the driveways. Now, it depends on if you have a list of them, then we need to get that list.
Okay.
I mean, I can't, we're
I'll walk around and make them.
And we need to get it because we need to get this resolved. We want to get things moving on this. I don't know how much, what the amount of damage was and what your, is it a modified driveway where it has paint colors or whatever on it or what? But
One is, I'll go and take pictures and make a list.
Okay.
Huh?
That was the CAM.
There were 3 vendors that were gonna bid on this thing. One of them came in, drove around with the CAM, the same one who approved the $1,800 payment. And they spent, I don't know, a few hours. He had the tape measure, he was marking everyone, hit it with the orange.
Okay, all right.
And
Didn't know who made the measure.
then once they got that done, they said there's 275 trip hazards. And then the 3 vendors were bidding on it. And then we had Sophia made a spreadsheet of what was sidewalk, driveway, tree related, Because I remember we discussed here that if it was a driveway or if it was caused by a tree, they were separate issues. We'd have to maybe charge the homeowner for trees, but.
Was one of the three Crooked Creek.
Yeah, I got that one. Yeah, yeah. Crooked Creek, Jewelstone, and Pebblestone are the three that I've looked at that I know definitely need to get fixed.
Question. Lauren, I think I'm the most concerned when I keep hearing hurry from you, when I walk all over
Like
the
an overlay.
streets. There's multiple
Yeah.
ones that need to be considered. The homeowners and residents, some of them have not been notified. They were told this was going to happen, but there was never an e-blast sent out to say, hey, if you've seen any damage, please let us know. The homeowners and the residents, could be renters, tenants, that have no clue what to do. So they're just sitting there thinking, oh, it's been damaged, it's gonna be fixed. There's no communication from Stoneybrook Advisory Committee or the HOA or from capital management to the homeowners saying, what can you do if you see a problem? Just like the ones that are on Crooked Creek, 1, 2, 4, 4, 7, I don't even know.
Right, got that on the list. That one's on the list.
That's a really bad one.
Right.
The ones that I've written down are extremely noticeable, but there's some other ones that might be on the list. I don't know, there's 17. The bottom line is, why didn't the supervisor of Copeland Sutherland Enterprise go and do I call it an inspection, a final inspection? Why are we doing all of this work when it's their job to go, oh, we made a mistake, if there's 17 problems to move forward? So we have to ask the homeowners, if you do, then you better be communicating for an e-blast going, homeowners, do you see a problem? That hasn't been done yet.
Well, there was never an email sent out advising Gateway or Stoneybrook that this was going to occur. Never saw an email that went out doing that. The project was
Supposed to.
not by us, supposed to be sent out by the HOA. HOA, this was an HOA project. They did all the work on it. They set all the stuff up. They did got all the proposals in and stuff. It was their project. The advisory committee only approved the funding to do this project. The rest of it was on the HOA to do that. The HOA is responsible for streets and sidewalks, et cetera, within Stoneybrook per the agreement. But we have picked up, because we've had a few, the three that we found that we definitely need to get going on, they must be the worst ones, because I've not heard or seen anything. Haven't seen anything on Facebook or anything where everybody complaining about it. The ones I've seen, most of them, all the other driveways I've seen with that were, they ground down the sidewalk. They didn't have to touch, the driveway was lower than that. They did that and they cut right along that line. And there might have been some cuts into that particular aspect, but nothing severe enough where I think there would be a problem in trying to repair that. But then again, I'm not the resident. I don't know what that is.
So is Copeland Sutherland, are they licensed bonded if they made errors that can be covered?
I'm sorry?
If the company that did this job, can they actually, are they licensed bonded if there is insurance, if there have an insurance to cover any mistakes and damages that they make? I'm concerned because that's the way normally the process would work versus, oh, HMA has to cover it or.
Well, that's why we're getting costs and stuff on it now. We're going to work with the CDD to see how we're going to cover the funds on this, and maybe have to go back to the vendor to take care of that. Yes. We're trying to find out what the cost is going to be before we can move on and get it fixed. We want to get the three big ones that are damaged. We want to get them fixed as soon as we can.
So would you recommend that?
I'm sorry?
Would you recommend moving forward that the HOA send out some type of an e-blast through the council management, asking the homeowners, do they have issues? Are we just?
Well, that's up to the HOA to do. They'll have to do all the follow up on it.
The problem is wondering why the supervisor didn't go and document this. Whose responsibility is to homeowner, I can walk every street, I can find every one of them for you. It's not my job. I would have considered Copeland's supervisor to do that job.
Angela, let me tell you, Eric and I spoke directly to the owner who was running one of the machines. And what he told us was, I did what I was supposed to do. And we were telling, and Eric even said to him, look, he goes, if you come to a driveway, wouldn't you just normally call somebody? No, I was told to fix everything according to my contract. Now, if you want to send me an email releasing me from any liability if I don't fix one, I said, I ain't doing that.
And we have
and
other
that-
issues
but then-
going back to previous property manager, which did not have authority for the HOA on giving them permission. And maintenance guy that is not qualified and even certified to go and put those little arch spots down. I sent an email.
No, the contractor did that.
I heard it was the maintenance guy.
No, it definitely was not.
No, it
Okay,
was our
okay.
maintenance.
No,
guy.
it was not. Definitely, absolutely not. Lou and I witnessed it.
The original one
We-
was done through John Holland.
John was there, Sophia was there, and the guy from Tropical Concrete.
Went around and did the little
No,
spots.
was not.
They borrowed JT's.
They borrowed JT's LSV.
I'm talking about prior to that. I have
No,
an
I'm talking about the
email
people that put the orange
spots.
marks down. The orange marks was done by this vendor. And then that list of properties, which is right here, was given to the two other vendors so they could all bid on it.
I apologize. I was told
But-
that our maintenance guy that's not qualified did the orange spots. I apologize.
No, he didn't do that. Because Lou and I drove up on him. We come up to, I said, who's got, I thought somebody stole JT's LSV. You know, from my lips to God's ears, that would have been a good thing, but, yeah, we stopped and I said, what are you doing? Oh, well, I said, why are you putting orange paint on the friggin' sidewalk?
If this is an HOA issue, why are we spending so much time on it?
Yeah.
It sounds to me like HOA needs to take care of it.
Well, Stoneybrook Advisory Committee approved.
I think we should just,
$11,000
we just pay the
budget.
bill.
It's your project. All we
What's
do
that?
is provide funding.
So
What-
it needs to be on the agenda for the HOA board.
Yes, it does. Margaret?
I'd like to make one comment, and that was Mr. Copeland, who did come, my green driveway, is one of the ones that came. And he came by and he told me his boss was the CDD, and he was told by the CDD to grind everything marked or unmarked.
Mhm.
That is exactly what.
Well, that is not true, because I don't know who,
I'd like to know who told him to grind whatever he thought he did.
that is one of my questions that I was gonna mention to Chris, is who told him that, because we didn't tell him that. The only thing we did was send him an email saying, hey, your PO's been issued, contact the CAM to get the information, and he'll be your lead person. Eric responded back and said, here's the list, and if you need anything, call me on this. So,
Who emailed Copeland and told him that he had the contract?
we did I did when we
You did. I
When
wanted
we
to know
did
who
the-
he was.
when we had the purchase order number, we emailed him that and told him that was the number he would use for any billing and
So
stuff.
did that come from the office or did that come
What, the email?
from the email to Copeland?
I sent the email because I got the purchase order from Laura on it, yes. And that was all that was said. I said nothing about what it's gonna do because I did not want to get involved in that project with the HOA.
Can I make another comment? I'm extremely impressed with the work that they did, because I've been documenting this for 4 years. I've done every street. And just to see all of the trip hazards finally taken care of, I'm extremely impressed with this company, other than a couple of mistakes they made, they just need to be liable.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree more. That's the ugliest damn thing I've ever seen. Every project I've seen like this, it's ground down nice and smooth and even, and this looks like a damn claw hammer.
Exactly.
Went through it and dug it all up. So it's a piece of crap. It looks horrible. So how can you possibly say it looks good?
I
It's
think it's an
miserable.
$11,000 job, you're right.
Okay,
But I'm just glad the trip hazard-
let's move on.
Can you have the name of the two vendors that are coming tomorrow morning so I can let the gate know?
I'll
Send that to me.
yeah. I'll talk to you about it.
I want to speak on this. Should I wait for,
No, well, on the,
I'm at grinding.
Go ahead and speak now, because we're moving on.
I'd like to ask some questions. Were 3 bids obtained,
Yes,
and how was Copeland chosen? What was the criteria that you used to choose Copeland?
the lowest cost.
And who has copies of those bids? I'd like to get copies of those original proposals.
The HOA has copies. I've got copies somewhere. I don't, probably just, I'm sure Chris has copies of it.
Okay. And do we know, does Copeland have insurance and bonding? Are they capable of paying for the repairs?
All I know, we do have his insurance that the CDD requires. You had to file that with the W-9. Beyond that, as far as checking them out, I did not vet them. That was a HOA project, and they had the proposals. I did not vet them myself or for the proposal.
So,
On what the HOA recommended.
so you told Copeland that nobody really told them what the scope of the project was,
No.
other than the contract said
There was
275.
no RFP and no scope of work to be done.
And was he told his point of contact was going to be Eric?
Yes.
And who was the on-site manager overseeing the project?
Would have to have been Eric.
Eric. Did anybody tell Eric that?
I didn't. Did someone tell Eric he was in charge of overseeing that project?
I'd be willing to bet. The day before it started was when I found out it would get done. And I said, Eric,
Yeah.
we approved it at the last meeting. It should be happening sometime.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. It is? Shouldn't
Yeah.
I know? Shouldn't other people
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I didn't know until I saw him out grinding my driveway.
I didn't know until I saw him grinding down Gemstone. I stopped. I didn't know who he was. I went down and checked him. He said that for.
So who would have been responsible for telling Mr. Copeland not to touch anybody's driveway?
To me, it would have been the lead worker or the HOA who was in charge of the project. They were the ones doing the project.
Thank you.
Yep.
And I'm just curious that since I've heard you say over and over again that the Stoneybrook Advisory Committee wasn't responsible for any of this and that it's an HOA project. And just like Tom said, how did you end up in charge of getting the repairs done and being the communication for everybody? Copeland, the HOA, the CDD, SAC?
Because
On
we
what
wanted to get it
happened.
done quickly and to turn it over to the HOA, where I think we're talking months down the road. And the CDD got involved because of communications they had, and they wanted to get it done, and they come, I talked to them and they said, let's get it. So I went out and had it checked and got into the, trying to get people out to get it fixed.
And how are the repair vendors being chosen? How did you find them?
Going through the internet, looking at things, Home Advisor, trying to find what, and then vetted them through the state and Better Business Bureau, et cetera.
And you've got 2 of them. Have you contacted any others?
I'm sorry?
You've got 2 vendors that are coming out. Have you
Right.
contacted any
Right.
others?
Right. They're going to come in tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
And what criteria did you use when you chose them?
That they did concrete work and they did driveways, et cetera. To their advertisement, my discussions with them.
Okay. And who are the vendors that are coming out? You said one's coming in the morning and one's coming in the afternoon.
One's Alpha Foundations and the other is Stone Age Specialty Concrete.
those answers. And I have walked all the streets. And I'll tell you, the spreadsheet that I was given, the HOA and the vendor actually had the same spreadsheet.
Mhm.
Stone Tower Loop is not even on there. There's a whole street missing, and yet I've been down it and I know that it was ground. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how he knew where to grind on that. And I have also gone through and I have documented where there's trip hazards that weren't touched on all the streets and driveways that were touched on all the streets. Some of them were on the list that there was a place by the driveway. Some of them were not. A lot of them are paver driveways. So I found 17 that actually have damage to them. That's where my 17 came from, walking the streets, driveway to driveway to driveway. And so to say that there's only 3, there's 2 of them on Bluestone that are really bad. I don't know how anyone could have missed them. So who is the one that went out and found these?
I just rode around and just looked for those that were marked and done and looking at driveway. That's all I did. And I just know that I probably missed some. I've got not perfect on that. I was trying to do that to get ahead of game
Mhm.
and to get things moving along so we could get things done as expeditiously as we can.
And I'm going to piggyback on what Angela said, because I had it written down too. Miscommunication and lack of communication is what caused this problem in the first place. And I don't think compounding it with more lack of communication to the residents of Stoneybrook is the right thing to do. People need to be advised to go out and look at their driveway, and if they think it needs repair, to let somebody know. I think that's fair to the residents that had
Yeah.
damage done to their driveways.
That's fine.
Maybe we should put those guys off.
Huh?
Maybe we should put those guys off. I'll have the office send an e-blast out this afternoon. Give everybody
Yeah.
until, say, next Wednesday to contact the office with your address if you have issues. And then,
Some
in
people
my
may not.
opinion, I don't think we should be doing this much work. I think we should just take the list of damages and send it to Copeland and say, fix it. End of story.
Well, the problem with saying Copeland needs to fix it is he's not a concrete work. He can't do concrete
Yeah, but
work.
it's his-
What's his repair gonna be?
It's his problem. He caused it, because what are we gonna do? We're gonna do it and then get the bill and then try to get him to pay the bill? I mean, he's ultimately
I don't know
responsible.
how
In my
that's gonna
mind, he's
work.
responsible. We're only one of 7.
And I know that there's some people that are gonna go out and look and they're gonna say, oh, well, that's not a big deal, I don't care. But they should have the right to go out and inspect their driveway and complain if they think it needs to be repaired.
So I have a question. The 2 vendors that are coming in tomorrow or whenever you book them, are they going to come in and tell you what Copeland either did right or wrong and find their errors? Or are they here to fix?
No, they're there to look at they're gonna look at the 3 that we have listed now that are bad, that need to get repaired, that we know of.
Can you recommend for them to look at more?
I will talk to them about that tomorrow when they're here. Yes, I'll talk to them tomorrow. Yes. Yes.
17
You
spreadsheet.
need to get a list first before they come in.
Yeah.
Margaret, can you give us a copy of that list of 17?
I will, it's roughly handwritten, I will make
Okay.
sure that you get a copy.
Can you email that to me tonight?
I can try, I don't know. that
Because
I-
first, I hate to cancel them because it took a
Takes a
real
while to
problem
get 'em,
trying to
yeah.
get them out here. So, I can,
I mean. that would
give me
be-
the addresses that have the big ones and then we can have them checked. But,
If I can make a copy of a blank spreadsheet, I can just mark
that's
on
fine.
that, because I wrote all the addresses
Yep.
on the spreadsheet that I got. Except
right.
for the one I found on Stone Tower, from Stone Tower.
Okay. Okay, moving on. Gatehouse slider.
Sophia's working on updating the prices, as I think everybody knows here. Eric Arcam has been out sick. This is the 2nd week. He had an issue. He should be back Friday, hopefully, but in his absence, I spoke to Sophia and asked her to contact the 2 previous quotes we had to make sure they're good, and if she knew of anybody else to get up. She said, well, she goes, I gave it to her yesterday. She called me just before the meeting, said, I should have them all tomorrow. I said, well, we sort of need them today. But if not, then you got till August. And where this comes from is that all of a sudden, the vendor that we chose last month is like dropped off the face of the earth. All of a sudden, we can't, Warren, myself, and I think Georgia in the office, we can't get him by phone, text, email. It's like he's in witness protection. I mean, we don't know where he is, so it's time, I think, we need to just move on and get the job done, so.
And to move on, I think we need to, since we had a motion to select professional people, professional air conditioning, we need to withdraw by motion and then move on and decide what we want to do with getting it with our glass door there at the thing. So do I hear a motion to withdraw the proposal from professional?
Yep, I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
A quick question before we do that, I'm sorry.
You have a motion and a second. Go ahead.
Were they given a deadline of any kind to respond?
They had been working with the ladies in the office
Yeah.
on the different insurance and paperwork and stuff, and then all of a sudden, stopped.
And then subsequent to the stop, has something gone out legally that says if you don't respond by a certain date, we're going to?
Yeah, I sent them, well, their email wasn't working.
Okay.
Their website was disabled.
Yeah, it's really weird.
I left a
Yeah.
message on
They went out of business.
the phone that finally said, leave a message. There was 2 or
I
3.
guess that says.
And I said, you have until Friday, close of business to do this.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
An attempt was made to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no
That's
question.
fine.
Yes, no question.
And as long as that's documented,
Yeah,
I
got that.
withdraw the rest of my discussion.
Yeah. Okay. You have a motion and a second to withdraw from professional. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now, the question comes, at this point, that door on the gatehouse is hard to open. They have to really push it. Plus the handle is about ready to fall off. We've been dealing with this between what the HOA's been doing and into here for quite a few months. And we're hoping that this one from Guardian, which is a decent price, but the proposal is almost 4 months old. So we don't know if that's what we're trying to verify that. We could, if we get a price, if we want to try to move it along, have a motion to purchase it not to exceed a certain price. And then if it comes in, we can do that, and I can send the information out to everybody so we can do that, so we can get moving. Because we know it's gonna take, if it's Guardian, they're gonna have to order it from somewhere. And you're talking 4 to 12 weeks probably before you get anything. Unless she would get someone like Storm Smart, who makes a lot of their own stuff right in her shop. But I don't know, they may have the same thing right now with all the windows and stuff that's going up just around our neighborhood right now.
They do,
Yeah, they're all
because
busy.
I ordered windows from them. I'm waiting.
To put hurricane windows in, and it was a 17 or 18 week wait.
Yeah, yeah, Don spent longer than that, I
He
think.
just got his.
Yeah, he just got his, and his was, I
He
think,
waited
the
about a
before you
year.
were. Yeah, he waited a long time, so. Okay.
I'd make a motion to accept Guardians 3107 as long as it doesn't exceed 10% more than that.
I think that's good, I'll second that.
10% at, that'd be what, about 4,000?
No, it'd just be
No.
About
another 300 bucks.
350.
Huh?
About
It'd be
another
310 more.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't exceed.
It'd be like 3417.
I think their total bill is down at the bottom there at 3517.
Yeah, well, engineering.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. So if it doesn't exceed 10% of what their proposal is.
Correct.
Okay,
And I'm gonna call them just to find out why, if they're both hurricane doors that are all the same measurements and everything else, why is one like almost $2,000 more than the other one?
The other one's got low E glass.
Yeah, but almost that much more just for low E glass?
It's more expensive here.
That's whack.
okay. All right, well, I'll
Okay.
find out, but yeah, we can, we have a second to Gary's motion? Second, I'm sorry, okay, Dave,
Yeah, I have a question too.
sure, go ahead.
I thought the low E glass is in the description, not in the options. So they both should have low E glass, shouldn't they?
That's it. Yeah, actually, they are both low E glass.
Yeah.
I'm looking at up at the top, it says laminated gray low E glass, and then down the bottom, it says laminated gray low E glass. That's why I'm
Different
saying,
kind of doors, one
what's
Sparta
the-
and one Centennial.
well, yeah, what's the difference for $2,000?
Yeah.
You know,
I'll see what I can find out. Okay, yeah. We'll stick with the 10% though at this point. So we would say we need to move along. We need to get that moving because it's in bad shape right now. Okay, we have a motion and a second to go with the Guardian proposal as long as it doesn't exceed 10% of their current price. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay. Gatehouse renovation. There are a lot, besides the slider, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in there and stuff. And then I just found out that they have, I was out there yesterday looking at some stuff. And the guard out there pointed out some roaches that were there. And also ants, I was told was in and out. They have problems with all those things.
maybe if they wouldn't try to get food all over the floor. it'd be a problem.
Do we spray out there? Bug spray?
You know, we have a contract for the clubhouse.
Okay.
I don't know if they go and spray out there, but we can get the spray from Home Depot and Pedro can do it.
Well,
It's not that we spend unnecessary money. We keep extra weed killer in the shed so that he can spray extra weeds that pop up in between service sites. So we can,
yeah, we need to get something done out there because from what I understand, they're kind of taking over the house, the place. So we need to get that done. And we need to start working on getting some of the things repaired out there.
that was one of my things that Eric and I were gonna walk out there
Okay,
and,
okay.
and see how much of it, because we've been pleasantly surprised. Pedro, the new maintenance guy, he's got a world of talent.
Well, and when you walk in, it looks clean, but when you start looking around, there's still some plugs out there that don't have caps on it. And just those different kinds of things that are bad. Plus the doors on the cabinet in the front are gone. I don't know where they're at. And place just looks like a wreck.
Yeah, and the one network people was supposed to take all the equipment, move it down underneath,
Mhm.
make it look cleaner up there. So,
Okay, you and
I got-
Eric gonna work on that, or Eric's gonna.
yeah, hopefully it comes back Friday. I hope so, hopefully by
Okay.
next week. But I'll go up, I can take Pedro up there myself.
Okay, yeah, he seemed like he knew.
Let's see what he can, we may have 12 things that need to be done and maybe he can knock off 8 of them.
Yeah.
And save us money at that.
Well, when it gets all done, then that's when it kind of all needs to get painted up and stuff, all the bad spots, and then.
Oh, I spoke to him about that. He'll definitely paint.
Yeah,
He said he'll even come in and do it on a midnight shift, so no, you're not.
well, there's a spot there where they took down the towel dispenser.
Yep,
Don't
I
know
got a
where
picture of
that's
that in the guard report.
Huh?
I got a picture of that in the guard report.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like about this big.
Yeah.
Big. Yeah.
So I don't know where they put it, but, it's right by the sink, so I'm assuming that's where they need to have something to do that. So, okay. Okay. Anything else on that? No? Okay. And the next thing on the agenda, I believe, is, well, we have, I got it here somewhere, is the committee requests and audience comments. We've had those. Any comments from the committee?
I have one.
Oh, I'm sorry. The budget process, we haven't gotten the financials yet, so I hadn't really planned on anything on that. When the financials come in, we will, I'll get them out to everybody so you can have a good look at them before our next meeting. Okay. Committee requests,
I just have a comment.
okay.
I'd like to thank Kathy. She sort of gave me a overview about landscaping this week and what's involved and everything.
Yeah.
And I'd just like to thank you for that.
Even though she knows we picked on her last time, we know she does a good job, and I know Jim, who she works with, and Freddie, they all do a pretty good job getting things done. It's just that trying to get organized is one of our problems.
And now for next month's meeting, you'll remember her name, right?
Huh?
The next month's meeting, you'll remember her name, right?
It's either you or she.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes,
Um,
Dave?
One of my emails that came in showed an incident at the gate.
Yes.
With a gate
A
going
vendor,
down
yeah.
and the driver not stopping at a stop sign and the gate being whacked off. What's the status of that?
That was one we were talking about, that one right there. And I think that's something that, I think we
The
need to
status
work.
is, Lou and I are working on it, and it is not gonna be 004 money. Matter of fact, the driver, we're gonna make the driver pay for it.
I think because you,
I agree. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
it almost looks like a 60-40, 70-30 mix here where the guard went too soon and the guy didn't look and.
Well, my last argument with the other board members before I came here was, okay, here's the way Lou and I see it. I said, first of all, Lou and I have been handling these every time they come about, so why is this one becoming such a big deal? And we know that reason, but I'm not gonna disclose it here. But, the guy comes in, there's a stop sign.
Right.
It's an oversized stop sign. It's even bigger than the real one, okay? He did not stop. He told the guard, I didn't stop. The red lights were on the gate on him. He didn't stop. And then he also told the guard, I wasn't looking where I was going
As
because
long as we're not.
I was
gonna
looking
debate
over there,
this
you know?
Today or at another time, I'm fine with that. I just-
Oh, yeah, no, it's never gonna be over.
I think in going out and watching how the gate guards work that, I think they need to take a look at how they're doing some of that, because that guy that was there, the guard, he hit the button to shut the gate down. The guy he was moving pretty quick when he come off of there, but it was 16 seconds from the time he got there and the time they put the gate up was 16 seconds before he got to the gate. And the arm was coming down before he got there.
Yeah.
And that was because the guard hit the button. The guard don't have to hit the button. If the car goes through on the open gate,
It'll know when to shut.
it'll shut after that. And I watched, and this is what the young guy that I was working with there was showing me how he does it. And he was paying attention. Of course, I'm standing right there, but he's paying attention to what's going on. And it was obvious on that particular incident that the guard, the gate guy, was not really paying attention, because after it went by, he just looked, hit the button, sat down and started doing something here. Didn't even know the guy had come down, the guard, and they had a TV right there that showed all that. So I think they need to watch or do something, evaluate their process in doing that. And not stopping at the stop sign, yeah, that's a biggie. But most people think that when that gate goes up, they're free to go.
Yeah.
And I would recommend them consider putting 2 stop bars. One stop bar by there at that stop sign.
Oh, white paint on the street?
Yeah, stop bar. And the other one would be back where the other stop sign is before you get to the gate, because the guard has to get, if everybody pulls up where they do, the guard has to go out and get the license number, which takes more time to do that, to get back in there. Whereas if they stop at that stop sign, and that's what they want them to do, he can get that number off the TV. You don't have to leave the guardhouse to do it. He can.
Yeah, when they stop at the gate,
Yeah,
as soon as they come to a stop at the gate, they have the license plate right up on the screen.
but if the guy behind him comes right up behind him,
Oh,
you
yeah,
can't see it.
then he can't
That's
see
why I say, because the stop sign back there, you put a stop.
Oh,
sign
so
back
you
there.
want a stop sign back
Well,
there?
there's already
to give
one
the
there.
guy space.
There's already one there. Yeah, they just need to put a
Just
stop. sign.
ignore it.
They ignore all of them.
Just ignore
They
it.
ignore all of them.
Yeah, they're still gonna
Until an
roll up, but at least you have something there to kind of, do something on that.
I have one more quickie. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
to-
No, go ahead.
There's I understand a new contract person who works here at a coordinator who works
Yeah,
here at the district. I'm wondering, given Margaret's discussion earlier about all the communication, and now we have a resource, I'm wondering where that person's going to fit in with our committee. Have we
We're
given
gonna-
any thought to that at all?
No, we're just finding out that being hired. I knew they were putting something out. I didn't realize they were moving along. I believe they've already selected somebody.
I believe that that person can be a big help.
Oh,
In
yeah,
terms of
yeah.
being a contract bidding RFP
Yeah.
guru between the HOA and the
Right.
committees that support the.
And I think that's one of the-
And everything else. So I think we ought to follow up with that.
Yeah,
And in and talk with
it may be the case, we may be able to get him for a meeting and we can just talk to him and see what, and to find out what his job functions are and who his bosses are, those kinds of things.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
recommend that maybe one of us do that first and then have him here with a full knowledge of what he can do for
Yeah,
us.
yeah. I think that's one of the things they're still, I'm not sure if he's actually started yet or not.
I'm good.
I
Okay.
got just a couple quick ones. Streetlights, they went up $100. I guess that's okay.
I have not looked at that. I couldn't tell you offhand. No.
And,
What do you mean we're up 100?
we were being billed $29.17 a month. Now we're being billed $31.19 a month.
Well, my electric bill went up like crazy this month.
I've heard Joe say 100 times that we're charged one flat fee for
That's
all
what
those
that's what I was
lights.
getting
Yeah.
at.
And
Correct.
It's not supposed to go up.
Flat fee during the contract year.
Yeah, we don't
pay for electricity usage.
Another old one, that oil leak where they took care of it, some guy's driveway.
Yeah.
We were billed $61 for it. I don't know if any labor, but did we bill the person?
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
Okay. And the last one, I see a couple bills for Home Depot, like 300 and 400. Do we even get to see what we're being charged?
The only thing I could think of Home Depot that would come off the old fork fund was when they did fix the sidewalk over there on Bluestone and Pebblebrook.
I just think if we get
Yeah,
billed for something,
we had a-
we should see what
I
we're
think,
being
I don't know
billed.
if we got an invoice on that. Somewhere along the way, we had an invoice.
Okay.
Or I saw one because it cost us almost $1,700 to have Gateway come out and take the concrete up. That's when it poured down rain and stuff. They fixed that and it cost us $1,700. And we're kind of evaluate, is that cheaper than what we would pay if we had somebody else come in or what? Because they just went and bought Saccrete and stuff, and they had concrete, and they mixed it there, and they did all the stuff right there. And that's where they get their materials. That's the only thing I could think of where they would have gone to Home Depot.
I just saw a couple bills for 300 and 400.
Well, then, can you give Gary a resource? Can you give Gary a name of someone to call and talk to and ask him what's in that bill? I mean, I didn't realize you were doing this, and I'm glad you are, but
Yeah.
you need to know who to go to ask.
Well, we got an invoice somewhere, I thought, but we can pull that invoice out, but that was when they
Well, Gary
fixed
ought to
that.
make, Gary ought to make a phone call
Yeah.
to somebody.
Yeah, I'm not
Say,
sure.
What is this? And they need to tell him. We
Yeah.
don't need to go look it up.
I'll try to follow.
Well, check with Georgia.
Yeah.
Check with Georgia.
If you're able to get me a copy of that bill for $61, we'll put it in, I'll put it on the guy's account, we'll send it to the, because when I spoke to Elle about it, because myself, Joe, Lou, we responded that day when it happened. And I said, make sure I get the bill. And a couple of week or so later, I said to, what do you call it? Is this just this is a statement?
Yeah.
Well, it's what we've been billed.
Yeah, it's just that the guy that this is, well, this is the one that's, okay, 6155.
Yeah.
I gotta see if they can
It was for the
print
oil
out,
drive.
yeah, I gotta see if they can print out something, because this particular resident, he's a pain in the butt.
Well,
And
I think he owes us.
if I can give him well, because when I spoke to Elle about it, like 2 weeks
Yeah,
later, I
you
said,
gotta
Elle,
normally-
I haven't seen a bill yet, we need to charge this guy, he did something dumb, and she goes, no, we take care of that cost. I didn't know that, we take care of that.
We.
cost. Yeah.
If it goes and it's going into Stoneybrook, we're getting paid for it.
You know, he
That's no
stored
doubt.
too much waste oil in his garage. And one of the cans gave out and dumped over in his garage, came out his driveway, heads down to the street, and it's looking like the end of the world, like it's gonna rain any minute. Elle was in a total panic. We got it all cleaned. The guy was in the house sleeping. It took us over an hour to wake him up because he worked the overnight shift. And yeah, we finally got it all cleaned up and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, he needs to pay the bill. It was his carelessness.
Well, that was Elle getting into taking care of that. I think that's Oh, yeah, he just put the bill in and got paid. We never saw it. So, okay.
Simple accountability.
Okay. Finish up, I had a copy of the memorandum or the agreement between Stoneybrook HOA and the CDD, the maintenance,
It made it to my desk.
huh?
It made it to my desk.
Yes, it should have, everybody should have a copy of it.
Oh, okay, all right.
This kind of explains where everything is, who's responsible for everything. This was done in 2012. And we follow it pretty good, but there's a lot of things that we don't follow. And I think we need to tighten up as far as some of the projects. We, as an advisory committee, should not be doing projects per se. We've done some for various reasons. I don't think we should do that. Pretty much everything that occurs within Stoneybrook should be handled through the HOA. Because again, the agreement, as you will see, as you read it, was set up to allow Stoneybrook residents to make decisions on what's going on within Stoneybrook. This was similar to the agreement we had right after turnover. And when everything turned over later, they took out the costing effect in there. And that's why this is about the time, or just before this agreement, where we went to taking out the tax docket instead of going through the HOA on stuff. That's why we have two different things. And this was done in, I say, 2012. We follow it relatively good, but I think we need to, the advisory committee kind of needs to step back and review and stuff as far as the budget, the costs, like Gary's been doing here and things, and not get involved in getting RFPs and doing all this other work that we've done here over the last year or 2 years. So I give you each a copy, and I didn't put it on the agenda because I like you to take a look at it, and then at the next meeting, we will have a discussion on it and make a decision as to what we need from the HOA for when they have a project. As I say, a couple things I've gone to the Board of Supervisors on because we've had a problem, and the questions come up on this last one. Was there an RFP? Was there a scope? What was the different things? Was there insurance? Was there a bond? Was all these different things asked? And of course, most of the answer was no. Now the HOA operates differently. They don't, they can work within their own scope and do what they want to do, but the governmental agency you work for, they have certain restrictions, as many of you are aware of, that we have to follow. And they want, because they need this information. So look at it, review it. We'll get some information, email it out to everybody so you can see what we're looking at. And then the next meeting, we'll have it on the agenda so we can talk about it more in depth and present something and put something together for the HOA as far as what we're looking for and when things come through on a thing. Because we're at this point where the funding would be the funding source, and the HOA and the CDD wants us to approve the funding before it goes to them, trying to take some of the work off of them folks. Okay. Motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
I
Okay.
did this spreadsheet, how many copies?
That's for you. I'm sorry. How many copies of the spreadsheet do you want from Margaret?
No, I just need one so I can take.
You
one
probably
copy.
you probably want 3.
No, just give me one. I can make copy. I can make copies. I'll go home and put it on my computer.